There we go.
All right, everybody. Okay, everybody. I'm here. I finally made it back. It's Friday. I'm able to consistently work on this, so we're just gonna consistently work on it until it's done. There might even be a little bit more consistency in the near future. Maybe. We'll see. I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful there will be a little bit more consistency because I might have some extra time coming up soon to finally finish this thing, and boy, would I use it. Boy, could I use it.
But whatever the case, welcome to the stream. Let's just step in. Let's just step straight into the shit. Welcome to the stream, everyone. I'm your host, Isaac, MCCanary. Pronouns any, pronouns all. They belong to me. And today, we're going to do some more animation work. And there's two themes to this animation at this point. At this point in the animation process. It's going to take as long as it takes. And we're going to do as much as we can. I don't know. Honestly, it might be a couple more sessions, but I might have time to do a couple more sessions in the near future. And as soon as this is done, as soon as the render is done, I just have to do Foley, which will be its fun own little thing. I'll either do it on my own, or it'll be like just a thing that we do. I might do that separately, but Foley is not going to take me long. Foley is actually going to be one of the easiest parts, at least for me, because along with Jackson, I actually really enjoy doing a certain amount of audio engineering. So that'll go like really easy. That'll go like really easy for me. So, but right now it's just a grind. It's just a grind to get this done. So this is the part of the production where you just are the most kind of nose to the grindstone. Just keep the render going. That's gonna be the best thing that I'm gonna do at this point, is just to keep the render going. And the good news is I think the hardest part of the render is, or the hardest part of this is done, which is the line work, and the render is just consistency at this point. The render is just being consistent. So we'll go ahead and get into it. What's funny is this will stay roughly the same. And today, honestly, this is something I might want to try to vocalize more, is since this is all primarily render focused and is just kind of like grind time at this point in the production, to which also, hello slime, boy slime, welcome, glad to see you. uh at this point in the production, honestly, if we just want to vibe, if you have any questions, if there's anything you want to ask or discuss, now would be the best time, because I will always do my best to keep up with chat and fail to read it properly, but I will always try. And I would say probably now more than ever is going to be the best time. Just be like, hey, what the heck? Hey, what the heck? Now would be the best time to ask said question. If you have them. You don't have to have them. You don't have to have them, and also, generally speaking, I'm just here to vibe. Here to vibe. I'm here to chill. I'm here to finish this shit. I'm super excited for this to be done. I mean, in all honesty, it's like I'm really excited to see the final product, is what I truly mean to say. But also, I am super excited to be done with this so I can work on other things, because um the next animation I do, I don't think I'm gonna make it so long. I think it'll be shorter, but also it should go faster because I learned a lot from this to be able to do it faster. Um, and I think like it'll be a little bit before I do another animation. I need to do a lot more short-term projects before I take on another animation long-term project like this. Again, I currently have a long-term project that I'm working on that would benefit from intermittent short-term work because I haven't been able to make any assets for the Mothership game in a while, and I really want to. There's more that I want to work on. I have things to draw. I have situations to draw from the game. I have work to do for the game. To which I hope everybody is enjoying the Mothership game. I'm really enjoying writing for it. It's been very, very good to write. It's been the most exciting thing I've worked on in a long time. And I'm glad my friends are enjoying it. I'm glad people are listening and watching it. Like, if you haven't heard the Mothership game yet, you should get on the VOD channel. It's all there. We just finally had another episode drop. It's all on the VOD channel under God of Limbs. Oh shoot, I made a mistake, but not in the place that you. Oh, I'm doing it again. I need to hold on. Let me not burn out my. Let me just change something so that way I'm not burning out my retinas. What color do we want today? I think last time we did like kind of puke green. Ooh, how about a nice yeah? How about a nice yeah? I'm trying to think what that color would be called. It's not really magenta. It's kind of magenta. I feel like I've had a shirt with this color. It's kind of like a burgundy. I guess I would call this as like a burgundy color. Makes me think of wine and really hearty fruits. Like not not overly sweet fruits. Like not like super fruit super fruit. Not like super fruit. Not like super fruit. Honestly, fruit isn't. Oh, hello, sir. Boy is here. He's here to help. By help, try to help, and by try to help, get in the way. Hello, sir. I will let him do this because this is his one. This is his one job is to get in my way to cuddle. So uh, can't do that. Can't do that. To do something like that because the goal. There we go. The goal is to still like preserve that this is like the back side of the like that. And really, if there's anything that you could take away from all of this that I'm doing, is that animation takes a really long time, but is worth it if you're willing to bleed and cry for it. It has been. This has been absolutely worth it. I've really enjoyed doing this animation. It's been very educational for me. I've learned a bunch. I feel like my art, the fact that for maybe the first time in my career as an artist, I have consistently made art, like made things over a period of of a long enough period of time that I'm just kind of proud, and I can really see that a lot of my work has shown a improvement. It showed an improvement, is what I've kind of needed, I think. That said, I also am super happy that, like, to a certain extent, I've gotten better support because sometimes there are two sides. There are two things about being an artist on the internet, I think, or being really anybody on the internet. You could argue make good stuff, but also people like people. It helps when you're a person. Which sounds super reductive, and it's not supposed to be. It's not supposed to be. It's not easy. Honestly, it's not easy being a person. Ugh. It's actually very difficult to be a person, especially in this day and age, it feels like. Um, but I think it helps to like really be a genuine individual. Show like, oh hey, not only do I like them technically, but also they just seem to be a very upstanding person. And that's something that I've always been really better at than I gave myself credit. And I really appreciate the people who have helped me realize that. And I continue to want to do things to continue to find people who actually want to support the things I'm doing. That, I appreciate you all, and I hope that we find more people and that we continue to just keep going. I mean, if and now I'm not saying this is gonna happen, and if it does, I guess I have to follow through on the words I'm about to say. If my computer irreparably crashed, I would still probably continue to make things. I might not immediately, but I would still pick up a piece of paper and a pencil, and I still have a phone and I still have access to the internet, so I would still probably at the very least be posting things. I probably wouldn't be streaming for a while, which would make me very sad, but I would still exist. At least I do my best to exist. Do my best to exist. Hey, come on. See, the real reason why I'm falling behind on this is because a snot muncher keeps on distracting me. He's not a snot muncher. He's a brat, though. He's a brat, and I love him. Oh, and I plan on. There's like some actually kind of like a lot of stuff on the horizon right now for me that I'm still working on that is like coming up. There's also like some other things that are changing. So if the schedule, I need to update the schedule so that way I could update the schedule again in case it changes because my schedule is changing. That's fine. I'm hoping that it won't change much, and I don't think it will. I don't think it'll change that much. My goal is right now. I believe my current situation is that my time shouldn't change that much. Like when I'm available to do this stuff, I will just be doing other things outside of streaming differently. Which is kind of how it's been for the like last few years, which has been very, very nice. Like the actual stream schedule hasn't changed much as far as like availability in so far as when I'm most consistently available. So it's nice. is nice and it's been nice. Mainly, I need to. One of the things I'm like kind of testing out, changing a little bit, is how I actually prepare for streams. I kind of try to prepare a little bit more ahead, which means I probably need to actually redo some of my organization that I do to prepare for streams, uh, because I'll have to keep track of like when I have and haven't used something, which could be its own kind of like, gotta figure that out. But hey, that's its own situation. That's its own situation. We fear dread towards that bridge when we get to it. Fear that bridge when you get to it. Honestly, something that this in particular has taught me is how to very quickly render things. Animation, the good thing about animation is animation takes so long that it incentivizes you to find ways to do it faster, if that makes sense. But in a way that's like actually like creatively healthy and like gets you to think creatively and think outside of the box and get you to actually like really engage with your work at a time in a timely fashion, because I do think there is plenty of merit to really taking your time with work, but with regards to animation, you really have to manage your time with animation, I feel like, because by necessity animation requires the artist on some level to have to say, I can't I can't work on this forever. On some level, animation really requires you to have to find a way to do things that specifically as an artist you don't really have to think about with other pieces of art, because the time that it takes to do most drawings is not impacted the same way that it takes to do animation, right? Like the amount of time that it takes to do an animation that you would put into a single picture inherently necessitates that you spend that time animating much more responsibly, in a certain sense. That makes sense. Makes sense to me. Because if you're spending all that time drawing a single frame, then you're absolutely not going to get that animation done. Which is partly why it's kind of like it necessitates really being willing to simplify your illustration down to really core aspects, be able to draw consistently. Which is not to say that animation doesn't. Again, like one of the core facets of animation is literally just draw good, but it's a very specific kind of draw good that I think people need to remember, especially if you're an artist aspiring to try animation. It is a fundamental form of draw good that requires you to be conscientious of what you're inputting with your draw good. You need to be able to draw good in more of the respect of draw good efficiently is a big part of animation, I would say. And that's still not to say, you know, like as I've said, this is the process from here on in is just be trust the process. The process is trust the process. Very helpful, I know. Um, but I just gotta keep working on it until it's done, and it will be done. What's important now is that I make sure not to like be like, oh, we'll get to it later. No, work on it every single day that you can. You don't stop until it's done. That's what gets it done. I've got the process. Do this as quickly as possible. I just have to now follow through and accept that as quickly as possible is a merit of the amount of time I have minimized the amount of time it is going to take. And that minimization of time does not equal it getting done faster than it needs to take to get finished, which is fine. I vaguely remember that also being a part. I need to go back and start reading the animator's survival guide again because it is very, very good. Highly recommend it to everybody, especially if you're watching this. It's just it certainly gave it. Here's the funny thing. Here's the funny thing about my relationship with the animator's survival guide that I think for anybody out there aspiring to animation, um, it is going to be useful to you in one of two ways, I believe. You're either going to be in the mindset of, wow, the animator's survival guide gave me a lot of insight on stuff that I wasn't really privy to, and now you could follow through in what you need to be able to start doing animation effectively and start taking those steps. I think the other way is the way that I kind of interface with the animator's survival guide, which is not to say that I knew everything. I didn't. Well, that's fair, Vime. I appreciate it. And welcome. Welcome. Welcome, Facebook. An entire one? No. Welcome. Um, uh, for me, interacting with the animator's survival guide is was an affirmation that I did know already the fundamentals of animation enough that I would be able to start utilizing them. And then anything else that I got from it was more or less just kind of production know-how. But actually, for me, reading the animator's survival guide made me go, I've been doing this already. That's the most affirming thing about it for me. And really, at that point, it's just a way to see how animators have established and processed the process of animation. Now, this particular animation, this is an animation for something that will go to this channel. If you keep watching, for long enough, and this is possible, I know exactly one person so far who's done this, but there might be more. If you look at the redeems for the channel, there is a redeem for 1,000,000 points for one free commission. I'll draw whatever you want. And if it is something that is safe for work, I will do it live. But it is a full free commission. I will give you a full free digital commission, essentially. Um, and I know exactly one person who has that. And when this animation is finished, it will be the redeem animation that will play on screen to celebrate that person watching so long that they got 1,000,000 points. And it is possible. I know exactly one person who has 1,000,000 points. Though at this rate, they might end up with 2,000,000 points, which will be hell. It'll be hell. I have to do it twice. No. I don't want to do this again. And to clarify, it's not that this is not for that because the person commissioned it. This is for that so that way once they do get it, once this is finished, they can redeem it and the animation will play, and then they can redeem a free commission of their choice. I just wanted to do something fun for it because I'm a psycho who actually works on all of their own assets. That's probably that's something that I want to be actually moving forward. Getting more of my friends involved in is being able to make assets for the channel as well as stuff that they might be doing, because I really enjoy working on this stuff, and being able to include my friends in on being able to make stuff for the channel would be like really really nice. So I definitely know at least one of my at least what am I saying? What am I saying? They're irregular. Lauren has taken interest in doing Gardic Phone again. So hopefully we can do some more Gardic Phone again. We haven't done Gardic Phone in a while, and I will admit, I think I'm getting close to being back to a point where I can do Gardic Phone again. I did have to take a break there for a bit. I will admit, I apologize. I had to take a break. I felt that I was kind of sunk in a little bit too fast and was dealing with a lot at the time. And I think if we do more Gardic Phone, it will be a periodic thing. It will not be a weekly thing. It'll be a more specialized event. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now with any of that, for that matter. Boop. Now we're curling. I have to do some brain math. Okay. This is definitely behind. Ah, nope, can't be that. Can't be that. Think simple. You do simple. Overthink. Trying to think of the planes along the finger. This would work. Yeah, I think something more like that. The curling is fucking me up. We're just gonna move on. The curling is messing me up. We're just gonna move on. I've been working on this animation for some time. Ah, hit the thing. Hit the thing. I hate when I do that. The thing. There we go. Sometimes you just gotta fix it. Matters is if you fix. Always remember that. Make a mistake, just gotta fix it. Big deal. No biggie. That that me? Gotta make a lip. Gotta make a lip. And I will say, if you are aspiring, Vimeo, Vimeo. Oh, it is Vimeo. The Vimeo and. But if you're inspiring to animation, one of the best things that animation itself can do is that I actually highly recommend through things like Gartic Phone. At that, Gartic Phone is actually very very good for this for practice. Is to just start getting into it, and the reason why is if you're worried about the kind of like struggle, if that makes sense. One of the things I actually really actually doubted myself in being able to do with animation as an artist is being able to draw consistently. The irony is just start doing it. Just start doing animation because if you start animating, even if the first ones you do are not very good, it by design by practice requires you to have to start doing the same kind of drawing over and over and over again. And if you just keep trying, you'll start building up overall a little bit more brute force of kind of like illustration practice because you will be continually challenging yourself to draw in such a way that is inherently repetitive. The only other goal would be just practice about doing it consistently faster actually. That's I think the part that like is almost harder with animation is not the drawing because a lot of it is finding a way to do it well enough that it looks good but not so much that it eats all of your, production effort, put it that way. Then at that point it's just kind of like outlining the process to get it done. I think it also helps with any creative endeavor that you should have a kind of preset bracketing system of how much you're willing to work into a project um, by kind of considering the inherent nature of that. This will all be done. Sorry, I got distracted by that. Let me think. What was it saying? Lost track of my thoughts again. Get those back here. Get back inside my skull. Where go? What was I talking about? This is the struggle of me doing solo streams. Is whenever this happens, I'm like, well, it's gone forever. Can't have somebody remind me. Unless somebody in chat wants to remind me what the hell I was talking about. Don't have to if you want to. Because really, doing animation is a good way to test one's own capacity to be able to work on a longer form media regarding illustration, whilst understanding that overall the effort that goes into doing animation is done in service to a thing that doesn't require that said illustration to be the best, just needs to be good. At least that's my kind of personal input towards it. And again, it's not to say that it's about drawing worse. It's about drawing deliberately. Animation is about making very deliberate drawings in the sense that like you can't take so many your polish comes at a cost of the most you can polish is knowing when you've done enough on a single frame. Like you can't you can't perfectly draw every single frame sometimes because you will lose your mind. That's where it also, I mean, a lot of animation tweens, there's a lot of jokes about him. Tweens look bad. Well, I think that happens for two reasons. The artistic reason is there are reasons to over exaggerate animation in a way that a single frame will look quote unquote bad, like proportions will look bad, because in practice it actually adds to certain elements of the animation for exaggeration. And exaggeration really, really helps with animation for that. Like, it's that squash and stretch, which is, no matter what, no matter how realistic you want your animation to look, is going to always be fundamental and important, because squash and stretch is a fundamental physiological phenomenon. When you move, even when you are moving, your body is much more elastic than you would expect. Nothing moves completely binarily. It flexes and changes in size and dimension as things move just naturally. Squash and stretch is just the exaggeration of that to really make certain elements of motion really stand out or be more apparent. Now I once again I forgot what I was saying in the middle of my own thing. Forgot why I started that example. Gone. Gone. I will admit, the child is running on slightly. I almost said significantly. It's not significant. It's just a quantity less sleep than they care for. they Listen, things have been busy and rowdy recently in a way that I just like see the horizon. I see the horizon. I just need to make it through. That's why it's important that I'm still here today, animating. Animating is always going to take a lot of time. And the deliberation of illustrating an animation really just comes down to knowing when to draw enough. That's why it's important that a lot of the elements of drawing and animation are more like building a rubric of ways that you draw things consistently and effects that you get as simply as possible. That's why when I see things like the animated tomato in Pat Labor, I I cringe. I cringe when I see such a thing exists, and the reason why is because uh the also thank you Sean. Sorry, I just gotta interject. Thank you Sean for setting up Automod to be able to do that. The bots, they can be stopped. But the deliberation of animation and in illustration is very much in service to being able to have to make a drawing in as direct a fashion as possible. What I'm like kind of wanting to impart. Like, there is no. At least my effort for animation is you want to draw well enough that something comes out nice looking, but not have it take so long that the amount of effort it took to draw the subject outweighs the actual production present. Let me think of another way to phrase that. Essentially, to animate in a certain sense requires one to be willing to make decisions that require you to have to really deliberate and be willing to only do so much on a on a single element of the animation. Because again, it's animation. All forms of art are going to take an amount of time, but good animation done on the same scale as a lot of single pieces of artwork is inherently going to affect qualities of the work in a way that are due to the limitations of time, just time itself. And it's something that you should consider while you're animating. Like the amount of time that it takes you to do a single image, a single illustrated image, the amount to do an animation in the same amount of time is going to impact the actual illustration element. Um, but a lot of my goals as an illustrator is to kind of find a middle ground. Be willing to find those breaking points of okay, I need to do this much when I do this, and it's very helpful if you can find those things. Like I feel very secure in that I found kind of a process for rendering that I can now apply to pretty much everything, including animation. And I now know like generally like okay, this is how I can do the rendering this way and do it consistently. And take this much time. I find for honestly everything that I've done for this animation is largely what I would apply to a single illustration with slightly simpler rendering techniques. If I was to do a more complicated one, I'd probably put a little bit more effort into the render because I have to do this for 500 frames. I have to make a call that's going to allow me to still do the part of the render that I need to capture from my art style without having to do it for 500 frames at the level that I normally would. Let's be frank, if you have to draw one frame, dump the amount of time that it would take for you to do that one individual single illustrated frame. If you have to do 500, find the fundamentals that are gonna make it look. Uh-huh. Yeah, they are. It is. Both silos. And it's going well, actually. I would say. It's going quite well. That too. I think the more you do, the faster it goes, but also you have to be willing to realize that faster comes from one of two places: experience and technique. For me, what I finally have gathered is for me to get faster required a fundamental shift in my technique, not in my experience. I felt that I took a long time to do art. I took a long time to draw things. And thus, because it took me so much time, it made a lot of my art very difficult to engage with. I had to fundamentally break down parts of my art to feel like what, for me, what I needed to change was the process of how I went about it, not the actual skill. And I think that's different for everybody. That's something important to remember here is that that line is different for everybody, fundamentally speaking. And frankly, like a lot of stuff regarding my art didn't start improving until I started getting that baseline of really like actually finding the way that gets me to be able to make it um consistently, and actually like really breaking down my process in a way that actually formalizes it in a way that it's like, okay, I can consistently make X, Y, and Z uh in this amount of time. That's the most important part. Time is super important. Time will always be super important. And you have to find a balance. This is the other thing that's important about time. Hey, this is the other part that's important about time. Never forget, it's gonna get used no matter what you do. And it's always gonna go slower than you want it to. However, your process improves the more you do it, no matter what. What's important is that you're taking the time, follow through on anything that you're doing, and while you're doing it, you will naturally get faster at it at up to kind of a certain point. But you need to actually afford for yourself, you actually need to afford for yourself the opportunity to take that time. The reason why I bring that up is the last time I was working on this, I was like, man, I did not get as many frames as I thought I was going to. I feel like this is taking me longer than I want it to. But I have to remember, still doing this faster than I was when I started. I'm still doing more frames than I was when I started. It's just more of a fact of the matter of this is how long it's going to take. Because right now, this is the fastest I can do it at this second. Always remember that the speed at which you can operate a process is only limited by your experience, largely. And that you can't increase that value unless you're willing to wade through the periods in which that value isn't very high. Because what always matters more is, in my opinion, maybe I'm wrong for this, but it is my process. This is where I come from. Be able to actually do get things done is being willing to say, it's going to take time no matter what. I'm going to take the time that it takes to get it done, and then utilize the things I learned from that process and apply it to the next time I'm confronted with this challenge. To decrease the time it takes to do it, because everything that I did in the first time that I did it is going to inform me on what I do better the next time. And then that also ebbs and waves. That's the other thing to remember is sometimes you, like, for example, my editing process for my shorts. I started trying to investigate ways to making shorts go faster. And then I found it. And I was like, wow, I can make shorts really fast. But then I was like, I want to improve the quality a little bit. So I started adding subs. And the quality goes up. And the quality looks good. And it looks good. No matter what I've found so far, subs are going to take more time than if I didn't do subs. In fact, there is something to proportionally always remember, that the quality of work done has an inverse effect on time taken. And it is about finding the medium value of those things that gets you the results that you want. Right? The quality of the work is high enough to justify the time it took. That's where my mind comes from. And you have to be willing to do one of two things: know where to sacrifice your quality, or know where to sacrifice your time. And both are valid. That's the important part. Both are valid. You want something to look better, do better, it's going to take your time. If you want something to be done in a timely fashion, you have to be willing to look at what you are doing and see where you can actually where quality can be reduced. You cannot do both at the same time. And it is about finding the in-between that gets you the results that you want. At least for me. That's why a lot of this has been kind of a labor of like being willing to remember a little bit. A little bit of the labor of this particular project, right, is about, I've taken three passes at each one of these frames. 3 passes is the maximum number of passes I want to take for every single frame in an animation that I work on. Line art? Well, technically 4. There's 4 passes. There could be 4 passes. If I really wanted to get into it, it would be 4 passes, because I'd want sketch. I'd ideally want sketch, line, color, render. 4 passes. 4 passes, no more, no less. 4 passes gets me the quality that I'm looking for. It hard lines how much work I want to put into a piece. And from there, I can work and develop the actual quality itself to be improved. But it hardline restricts me as a creator to be willing to say, that is the bare minimum I need to do to accomplish a goal. Being able to do that will allow myself, anyways, to more consistently make things, and that the gradual increase in quality will come in perfecting that process. But the process won't demand me do better. The do better will happen because I stick with the process, not because the process demands better quality. And that's how I want to approach any kind of like, especially like long-term project that I'm doing, is like know how many time know how many passes it takes you to accomplish something, and be willing to stick to that, and like really stick to it because it's good for you, not because, you know, deadlines and shit. It's good to be able to be, for oneself to be able to say, yeah, let's take time. No matter what it is. and that does take time to learn. But it is equally on yourself as a person who is illustrating, drawing, doing whatever, of analyzing your process, not just your style, to be able to consistently make things, which is not something that really got taught as much as I took a decent amount of art in high school, in college. You know, I did take a decent amount of art in education. Um, but I actually think one thing that if I was to ever recommend to anybody making anything is to be aware that you are developing a process and to be willing to sit down with yourself and study said process, study the process that you go through to accomplish something, and being willing to look at your art in a at least analytical way of, okay, how do I accomplish this goal? Like what are the fundamentals of what you go through to accomplish something? And be willing to restrict yourself enough to accomplish something. Restriction is not restriction and restraint in art, I think, are really important. Um, Especially as an artist, I think it's really healthy actually to impart some restraint on on one own's expectations on what they're willing and capable of doing, because it means that you won't push yourself harder to do something in a way that will be harmful to you. Now, I'm sure there's artists out there who are like, well, the only way I accomplish anything is by pushing myself 812%. I'm like, that's fair. That's fair. I think it is still important to remember for the workaholics out there, me included, that you timing those 800% pushes is as important as being able to commit to doing those 800 pushes. If you have a process, you have a process that you can build upon and improve without having to affect it too much, then you can actually save your energy for 800% you need to do it, and have a less than 800% dedicated for when you don't need to. When you just need to just draw. And fundamentally, I would say, at least for me, I will always have a need to draw. I have been kind of fortunate for that. I haven't hit whatever mark of Satan. I'm gonna call it Satan, not for any religious reasons. Just hi, Satan. Sorry, I'm blaming you. Hey, Satan, I'm sorry. I still blame you for stuff. I don't know why. Of course I have it. Um, for me, uh, oh, Magic Bot. Talk about. I'm also digesting wonderful, some very wonderful, uh, Mexican Chinese food truck sesame chicken that I'm so glad I got. And I'll actually say this is the first time I've had this happen in a long time. Usually I feel like when I get food, like if I go out to get food, I like eat everything. And this time I just ate the chicken and I was like, I'm saving the rice for later. I want to make a dish out of the rice because I that was so good and it was so much. It's good. Go, guys. Everybody out there, if you have a food truck, Go find yourself a food truck. Blatantly, I find that food truck is probably there's still good restaurants, but I feel like food truck is going to be the best kind of certain kinds of food for convenience. Was this pricey? Well, everything's pricey. I'd actually say it wasn't that pricey, given how pricey everything can be. It was about $15. And I had leftovers. So I'm like, yeah, it's pretty good, actually. I think that's fine. I've got now something that I'm going to use in a dish tomorrow with rice. I'm going to make a rice dish tomorrow now because of that. Um, Arguably, I don't even know if I should have eaten all that chicken. I should have just saved it like lunch tomorrow or something. But developing a process will help you be able to consistently make things. There are two things. There are two things that I recommend that have kept me going is develop your process and develop your reference. Develop your process and develop your reference. Process is developing how you do something, and reference is developing what you do. Reference, developing reference, I would say, really comes in being able to engage with the things that you are most interested in engaging. For example, I have and will always want to draw dinosaurs. If I sit down and go, I want to draw something, have a subject that you can just sit down and draw that thing. It's good to have like just one, just even one subject that if you can't think of what to draw, you just draw that one thing. Because as far as I'm concerned, everyone should and would have a subject of something that they could do at any point, at any time, no matter what, no matter if they've drawn it the same way 800,000 times, you can draw it anyway. Mine is Manuraptor and dinosaurs. I will always just want to, if I just need to keep myself engaged in making things as a practice, I will just draw a Velociraptor or a Utah Raptor because it's easy for me to do and I enjoy doing it. And it is good to have little stuff like that. No matter what. It's good to just have something on hand that it's like no matter how many times you draw it, you will enjoy drawing. And that doesn't have to be something even difficult. It doesn't even have to be something complicated. Arguably, the way that I draw Manuraptor and Raptors is not complicated. I very much draw them the same way every single time. And I do not draw them in a complicated way. The reason why I bring that up, though, is like I had the thought, I was like, if you want to draw Kirby, draw Kirby. And then you want to increase that kind of like value point of references in such a way that you increase the number of things you can draw. So my bare minimum is Manuraptor and dinosaurs, followed by theropod dinosaurs, followed by literally any dinosaurs at all. And then from there I expand to different medias and subject matters. My chibi style, I very much am just like, just fun. Just like a fun, simple thing to draw. I don't know. I think there's something elegant in remembering that when you're making things, the most important thing to do is really train your ability to engage with your work. I think it could go both ways. You could either really kind of overextend yourself and like make every single piece the best piece you've ever made, which I just don't think is possible. I think that you have to be willing sometimes to phone it in, or else you will drive yourself insane. And I think there's an art to phoning it in, actually. I have a hot take. Learn how to do bad work in a certain sense, where if you can do good work in something that is kind of fundamentally bad, then you can save yourself for when you do your best work, because it means that your worst work, it's fine, it's still fine, still doing fine, right? Like, quality will always shift in anything that you're doing because nobody is perfectly consistent in anything that they do. Sometimes you do things better, sometimes things worse, sometimes subjectivity of the universe decides for you whether you do better or worse, regardless of how well or worse you. Sometimes you do well and there's no response, and sometimes you do awfully and then it gets all the response, and weirdly people love it. So it doesn't matter. Do stuff. Just do stuff. It's novel and it's respectable to put oneself 110% into everything that they do. Remember, though, to aspiring artists out there, that you're still a person. That all art is made by people, which is why AI sucks. But all art is still made by a person. Why most people really only have one, you know, what's the term for it? When you make your perfect bit, magnum opus. Reason why there's only really one magnum opus, and I would say at this point, if I do ever actually attempt a magnum opus, I've been in the industry long. I have not made my magnum opus yet. My magnum opus is I do this, and then you never expect anything of this quality ever again from me. That's a proper magnum opus. Now it would be up to the people, the viewers, to actually, the audience to respect that, and sometimes they don't. They go, "Why couldn't you just do it again?" When it's like the whole point is you did your one big kablam. Well, hi. That's why I'm not doing my magnum opus yet. That's why God of Limbs is not my magnum opus. Kind of thinking about it, God of Limbs is my true attempt at making a full written project. That is the if I can accomplish God of Limbs, then I can accomplish any future game or any future written thing that I'm doing. And alongside with this animation, if I can complete this animation, then I can do any animation. Why it's important that I keep just going, keep just trying. Another thing to always kind of remember is that with things like animation, it's also just really determination. It's really just having the raw guts, baby. Put your guts into it. But determination doesn't mean. This is something to remember, everybody. Determination does not mean pushing yourself, actually. I don't believe that determination is just push hard. If anything, quite the opposite. I think true determination is shown in one's capacity to keep going at any rate. At any rate. consistently. Well, not even consistently, just openly. You know, determination is being willing to still get on and make 3 more frames, and that's as much as you can do, but you still got on and did it. That's determination. You know, determination is doing as little as possible, no matter what. Or doing as much as possible, I guess. Yeah, no, that's the direction I want. It is doing as much as possible, and as much as possible can still qualify as not a lot. But you didn't stop. You didn't stop. You still moved forward. You moved forward an inch farther than you did before. And that's something that's important to remember, is that that inch still got you closer to your, I almost said final destination. The end of the line. But no, it gets you to the finish line. Every inch you get closer to the finish line is still closer to the finish line than you were before. You want to continue to be able to do that until you can have one of those moments where you are able to pick back up and keep moving. Some days you move miles and some days you move a single centimeter. You still have made progress forward. The only things that are kind of failure with that in respect are stopping or going backwards. Positive motion is always positive, no matter how much or how little. No matter what. Sometimes you look at something you did and you just have to go, well, guess it's like that. Don't know why the fingers did that, but I guess it does that now. Fine, I just gotta accept it. Nothing really moved or changed, but I guess the fingers are longer now because I drew them that way. This is another thing with animation that you just gotta accept after a certain point is you'll be going and then you'll see, wow, yeah, that frame is wrong. Has it been that way the whole time? Either fix it or you move on. Frankly, you either fix it on this situation, move on. Like, obviously, if it's like something really, really bad, you fix it, but like if it's like, oh, what happened? Not that way. Guess what? It gets to stay that way. And that's the thing with animation too, is it's a conversation you have in every frame to say, how exact do I want to make this frame? The last frame. How much needs to stay the same and how much needs to change? Because there are going to be two things that will always happen. Is you will draw something will be slightly different more than you would want it to be, and something will be not as different as you would want it to be. That is two things that you have to wrestle with animation all the time, actually, a little bit. And being willing to say, like, okay, this is enough. Sometimes what you gotta do. Now, there is something to be said about the part of animation in which you're like having consistent shapes, essentially. You could argue that if I would have had, let's say, if I would have made the hair just a two-dimensional object, and I was just transforming the hair as like a static object, that could help. That is a way to do animation. Um, this particular one that the way that I am working is an individual challenge to do true traditional hand drawn animation. It means hand drawing frames as much as possible. There is something to be said that there's probably at least some amount of stenciling or copying that like Disney was doing. There are ways to make that process much more consistent, trying to freehand everything. This is specifically an effort to freehand. To try it, just to try it, just to see what I can get done just by freehanding. Because ironically, I don't have the tools, I don't have the tool set or the expertise how to get the kind of like shortcuts like that. So I just have to do what I know. Sometimes it is better to just do what you know to get a result, get a final result. At least for me. At least for me. Boy, this is gonna be fun. By that I mean this is gonna be a pain. Draw. I don't know why I settled on putting the shadow on that side, and I don't even know at this point if it would be technically correct, but once again, I just have to follow through. This is what means. The way that I did it, so I got to do it that way. Here we go. Oh, the drawing gauntlet also is. The drawing gauntlet is honestly pulling a lot of weight. I am very glad that I started using the drawing gauntlet. It makes a difference. Especially for this. And if nothing else, I definitely am getting my money's worth out of this drawing screen. Holy, this is probably the best thing that I've gotten for my stuff. Very glad I got it. I feel like overall, it's the quality of my work has improved. The feeling of like using the screen and everything, and I've used this now. I use this daily, actually, almost daily, because I also draw all the little pictures for places. Post that I'm doing the thing. To use this to do that. Fresco with a very crappy crayon style brush. Which, the more I've been doing that, the more I've like, even with this and with the specific ad that I made for today, I feel like I'm starting to now work up like how I want to do my renders. I very much have like really separated out into a into a color into render style that I really think works very well. It allows me to like really very specifically control how I actually do my illustration in a way that isn't too overwhelming for me, and also does the thing of like, oh, okay, it actually comes out what I want it to come out as. All right, gotta accept that I did whatever the hell happened here. Just have to this, but it is getting better, so I'm gonna do like that. This me. Oh boy, more of this shit. I just maybe. Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense, actually. I see what I've done. This is why it's important to start thinking about, like, how something actually is three-dimensionally. You'd be surprised. The human body is made of more planes than you expect. Okay? Set. The human body is made out of planes. And I don't mean that just because I like Ace Combat. But no, it is made out of surfaces. There are much more polygonally flat portions of the body that are properly just that. They're just planes. Um, the body is not made out of cylinders as much as you might expect. Not to say there are no cylinders. There are cylinders in the human body. There are human cylinders. They don't have to discuss. Well, yeah, I could make it. You know, old memes die hard, but I could make an argument that it isn't a cylinder based on my understanding of anatomy and illustration. It's not actually a cylinder. I wouldn't draw it as a cylinder. Believe it or not, cylinders are a very specific shape that I do not think is anywhere on. It is not a naturally occurring shape. A true cylinder doesn't exist in nature. Even tree. I guess. I guess foliage. I guess really foliage. If you really think about how like trunks and stuff work, that's like a true cylinder. There are things on the human body that are cylinder adjacent that when you're rendering them can be rendered into a cylinder effect. But really, human beings are made out of a bunch of triangles, squares. Like we're much more geometrically polygonal than we are cylinder. There's very little of us that is cylinder at all, and I mean that even in reference to specific jokes on the internet about parts of the human body that can be shaped like a cylinder. Study human anatomy. It actually isn't cylinder shaped. I'm just saying, it's not a cylinder. It isn't. You would draw it on 4 planes. It's not a cylinder. There we go. Now you could describe parts of the human body as cylindrical. It's not actually a cylinder. Your arms aren't cylinders. Your fingers aren't even cylinders. Your fingers have discrete planes along them. I would argue. Because that's the way that I think about it. And if I was to draw specific parts of the body, future, anatomy speaking, I wouldn't draw a cylinder. It wouldn't draw a cylinder. It's not a cylinder. You draw it as a. I actually have a hot take. If it is anatomically the shape of a cylinder, be concerned. Oh, damn you. Damn you, Adobe and Animate, doing autosave so that way I don't lose anything in case you crash for seemingly no reason. Alright. And however much progress I make today, honestly, I'm just glad. Glad I'm one step closer to godforsaken nation. It's long. It's been so long. And I mean, let me see. About to hit 2 hours. Nyeh. That. Yes. Yes. So, like, maybe. Uh, like that. Like that. There. There. A spit there. That. Yeah, like that. Hang on. Did it? Now I move on. How it goes. God damn it. Did I forget that? Or did? Sorry. See, this is the thing that I'm struggling with animation. If we're going to talk about some consistency that I have to work on with my processes. Uh, I do still need to figure out how to keep myself from changing fundamental things. But maybe that's just kind of something I have to get used to and kind of something I have to accept is going to happen a little bit. I think sometimes when you're drawing, because of the inherent nature, at least of like things like drawing straight ahead with animation and stuff, with like the render and stuff, it's like, eh, light hits weird at different spots, even if nothing changed. It's not gonna hit exactly the same spot every single time, is it? I mean, probably is. It's probably part of the learning how to do that consistently is just kind of trial and error, which I've gotten better at. I like things like the back shadow on the head and the hair has been consistent, I think, through all the way through, except for maybe the ponytail bit that got changed a little bit, but you just it changed. Fuck it. Part of the struggle of the like kind of slingshot or the effect of the butterfly effect of animation over time. You know, if a single change happens, and that just kind of spirals into changes over time, no matter what you do, especially if you're hand drawn animating like this. Which is hard. It's really, really difficult. I mean, I still do it. Ooh, interesting situation I've made for myself here. What I know. What's interesting is I think I have to get all of those like that. Now this is probably going to be the part that's the most fucked up. Something like this. The way the light was going. Favorite. I hit the J key somehow. I hate it when I do that. Just follow through. Process. Just gotta trust the process. Times you just gotta trust the process. Trust that you did it in a way that makes sense. Training that muscle memory. Boy, I'm going to be very good at making exactly that motion over and over again by the end of this. Ain't that just the way? Being lazy. Okay, I'm being a little lazy. Started scribbling. Put the line where it goes. And I mean, there's a certain point with a lot of this kind of thing that you have to be willing to consistently and confidently start making certain kinds of shapes and motions with your hand. I mean, I should be willing to challenge myself a little bit. There might be some streams where I do some challenges where I do like some blind drawing or something. We'll see. Blind drawing is a real bastard. Blind drawing is a real bastard, I will say. I'm not very good at it. Ugh. But that's why you gotta do it. It helps with certain. I've seen like some people do blind drawings, and I'm just like, I believe that helped you, but oh my god. I just am like, that would hurt me so badly to do all of that, though. Do that though? That would like so much work. Though I've had a couple that I've done surprisingly okay. Well, I'm like, I should at least do it. It is a good. No, well, some people might do it as their entire discipline, but it truly is just supposed to be like a way to practice. Like it's just supposed to be like a hey, do this. Really test your ability to do certain things in drawing. Really like strain your ability to practice certain kind of like shapes and stuff. Yeah, I like how this frame came out. I like this hand. This has probably been my favorite hand I've done. You want that to like yeah, that makes sense. Like that. Like that. Like that. So I actually don't know if he's lurking right now or not. I hope you, if you were, if you are, if you're there, I hope you like the discussion about the cylinder. Either way, I am making. I mean, depending on how this goes, I might land firmly within 400 frames. And if I land firmly within 400 frames, okay, no, I am doing better than I thought I was. Um, I think I was. You can never you can never judge. Don't hold your like. Don't. This is the thing. I think sometimes that is easy to criticize oneself or criticize others for outside is always be willing to accept the amount of work that you're actually able to complete. Because sometimes you do work and you get like so much done and it's easy and you're like, wow, that was easy. And then there are some days where you down, triple double down trying to get something done and then it feels like you did less work than you did on a day before that was super easy. Sometimes it just happens. Sometimes you get a lot of good progress, and sometimes you get like nothing. Very well, not nothing. That's the important thing to remember is, but you didn't actually get nothing. You ne- you, if you showed up and did anything, you didn't get nothing. You got something. Got something. If you truly got nothing, then you did actually do nothing. But if you're there at whatever you're doing, and you finish at a point in which there is progress on something that wasn't there before, then you did do something. It truly takes an inordinate amount of doing nothing to actually have nothing happen. Just saying. Just saying. Ooh, ooh, I'm enjoying rendering these. Oh, this is render these hands. Would also be a good VOD title. Really having to take my time and really think this one out through and out, honestly. Thing to remember about light is light actually, if nothing is physically blocking it, light will get in there. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Light will get in there. Light wants to get in there. I am just thinking real fast. Yeah, more like that. That makes more sense. Shadows are weird. I need to actually practice them a little bit more. I need to do a study on specifically like different planes of shadows because I feel like I've done a few, but I never did as many as I should. And I haven't done as many as I should. I need to do a little bit more studying on shadows. You know? And you, eh, tap tap. And I mean, all things considered, today oh, do this. Oh, that. How did I do that? To that part. I mean, if there's anything that I'm noticing that I've gotten much better and much faster at is specifically like things like this hair bit. I've gotten very, very good at consistently tracing this. Very, very good. Ooh, that's very good. Ooh, here it comes. Okay, now that definitely is there. Yeah, definitely want to have this plane here. The biggest, though, okay, this is actually going to work really well because now you have a contrast here and it's really going to, oh, this is going to look really good actually. It's going to do a very good job of contrasting which finger is the finger. Oh, yeah. I think you'll know which finger is the finger. That. That. More like that. Hell yeah. Moving on. I really forget again. I forgot again. I forgot again. I don't know why that's the part I keep forgetting to do. I don't know why, but really being able to do that in like one fluid motion is super nice. I'm just glad that I don't cramp easily. I feel like that's another thing. Do your stretch. Stretch your hands. Stretch your hands, stretch your body. You don't want to cramp up. Don't want to get yourself carpal tunnel. Not good for your hands. I think when it comes to stuff like this, you just gotta find the way that you can both see what you're doing as well as have the like hand motion that you're actually putting something where you want it to be, even when you can't quite see it because your hand is in the way. Oh my god, I'm gonna get close. I'm gonna be close. I'm gonna be very close to hitting 400 frames. Oh no, I think I'm definitely gonna be getting over 400 or over frame 400. Like, well, I have to do 50 more frames. We'll see. We'll see. You know what? No, don't. This is something that I don't know why. If there's anything that I have not been, never been good at, is oh yeah, I'll do in X amount, and then I just don't. No matter what I try. No matter what I try to do, never do. Don't know why. I want to. I even want to. Guys, that's the thing that's really heartbreaking is anytime that I'm like, I'll do it in X, and then I don't do it in X, and I'm like, ugh. It's like I say that I want to do it in X, and then my body or brain is like, well, no. And I'm just like, why? 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 What's ugh, good luck with ads. There we go. So much. I think I'll get close. You know what? I'm going to try to get as close to 400 as I can. There, that's an obtainable goal. Set attainable goals, everybody. What I found is when you set a concrete goal, for whatever reason, all you do is feel bad when you can't accomplish it. When you're like, I want to hit X as a benchmark, and then when you can't hit X, guess what happens? You're just like, I just wanted to hit X. Whereas if you say, I'll get as close to X as possible, guess what? No matter what you do, unless you really fuck it up, we'll get as close to X as possible. Sometimes just being able to make a goal sound obtainable is going to do better than stipulating a value that needs to be done. At least in my experience, anytime that has happened, I've struggled to hit minimum values, and not from lack of effort, that's for damn sure, and not from not excelling either. Sometimes minimums get put up in such a way that they're not possible, in my experience. I don't want to do that to myself. Certainly don't want to do that to myself anymore. Because even I'll be like, yeah, I'll get X done, and then can't because something came up or something changed or my tummy hurt. Sometimes that does actually make a difference. Sometimes tummy hurt does just enough damage to keep you from doing something. It does happen. It does and it can happen. Why it's always important to remember that what you actually get done is more important than if you hit a benchmark. And again, I think that sometimes it's easy to perceive that kind of thing as happening as like, underperforming out of like laziness or whatever, but I really don't think that many people are all that lazy. I really don't. Even people who excel have moments like that. For any number of reasons too. There we go. Good. Mark. Mark. So glad this hair doesn't move. Or it only moves in a way that doesn't change anything. Aha! Did I remember? Here, I'm just gonna do this. Apparently I forget it every goddamn time. Wanted to do that. Put it. There we go. Oh, my bones. Ooh, I felt the wrist bones click together. Switch my hands and take a drink here in a second. That's not. That didn't feel great. Eh. Eh. Oh, my whole arm. Stretch out the arm a little bit too. Me. Throwing my pen. Throwing my pencil.
There we go.
Alright. And when I say I need to get to close to 400, that's actually only 20 frames I need to draw. I just have to draw this 20 more times. 25 more times, actually. 25 more times in an hour. It's a little over 2 minutes a frame. If I could frame 2 frames a minute, or if I could frame 2 frames a minute, that'd be very nice. But if I could frame a frame a minute, that'd be really, really nice. That would be 60 frames an hour. What's funny is I need to look it up, but I think, like, really technically speaking, a second an hour is not terrible. That sounds bad, but think about it. That is a frame rendered a minute. I don't know. I feel like this is a particularly simple animation. So you truly have to be a demon, I think, to do any faster than that. I mean, like, I feel like today in particular, I don't know what sauce I rank for. Maybe the sleep deprivation does help. I actually do not think that my ability to do this faster has any bearing on the sleep deprivation, and I would still not like it. I'm not the worst I've had. I'm just a little tired. I'm definitely going to try to go to bed on time tonight. Wah! You Sometimes I do that, the better. There we go. Aha! I actually caught myself hitting the J key for once. It was me. It was me all along. Hey, Alex. Welcome to the grind hole. Welcome to the grind hole. It's just me grinding. Hope you're doing well. You're just stopping in to say hi. I appreciate it. Glad you could come and say hi. Tell your friends. Tell your friends. You know anybody who's awake? Just be like, hey, I have to go to sleep, but if you can't sleep, you should check out this person. They're cool and weird and Kinda gay. No, I'm pretty gay these days. Ain't that well? Yes, you should go sleep, Alex. But I still appreciate you stopping by and seeing how the progress goes on the old whole animation. It is. It's true. One of the best things that ever happened in my life was I stopped being straight. And I can never go back. Ooh, gotten better. Anyway. I mean, other parts haven't been so hot, but overall, it's only gotten better. Uh huh. That's just the way. And hey, be kind, everybody out there. Be kind to yourself. Never be upset if it takes you a while to figure out stuff like that. Everybody has their time with it. Weren't doing nothing wrong. Your brain just didn't know how to actually be the way it was because we are constantly put in world situations that are not actually very good for people to develop in, and that's fine. Matters is you figure it out on your own. Or what? Play the music. But I do feel like this animation is certainly it has been worth doing. It has absolutely been worth doing. Like I learned a bunch and it came out really good and it taught me some other things, namely what people actually want to see me do. That's the thing is like for a long time I didn't know what people wanted to see me do. Now granted I will always do things that nobody cares about because it's just how being a person who makes things works is sometimes you just do things because you want to see them made. I will always make dinosaurs. I don't know why. It's not something that I feel like a lot of people really give a shit about, but it's fine. I still will do it anyways, and for the people who do care about it, I will continue doing it. But a lot of people do seem to really like my animation. Heck yeah, I would absolutely want to do more animation if people want to see me do more animation. Animation is something that I enjoy. It's like one of those aha moments where you're like, what do I do with myself though? And then you just kind of find the thing. You just find a thing that you're like, it's been this the whole time, hasn't it? Huh? Glad it was animation for me, actually. I think anime as much as I do a little bit 50-50. The groove itself is still developing, but actually finding something that I am enjoying doing and growing, as well as something that people actually have been like super receptive to, is pretty. I mean, it's always good as an artist to be making things that you want to see made. But I will say one of my main goals as an artist has always been be to develop some notoriety, and I feel like I really struggled with that for a long time. And I think, like I said, I will always make things. I'll always make the things I'm the most interested in. I'll always draw dinosaurs, but I got a bad rap for drawing dinosaurs for large portions of my life. So it kind of goes 50-50. I'm never going to not draw dinosaurs because at this point so many people kind of told me to stop drawing dinosaurs that I'm always going to do that. But it is nice to finally have something that people go, "That's really cool." And I'm like, "Yeah, I've been doing shit like this forever." I've actually been doing stuff forever. Glad you noticed now though. Not really. Why the next goal is like I'm trying to be better about actually encouraging people to share stuff. Like if you like this animation, show it to some people. Tell people about the stuff I'm doing because I want to do it more. And I finally do want to actually be like, no, tell people. If you think this is cool and fun, share it. My stuff is for sharing. You can share it with people. I'd want you to. Sharing is not stealing. Now, if you say you made it, I will be mad. Guess I can't stop you, but I do want people to like actually see the stuff I do. Mainly, one of the main reasons that I do this is not so much for myself, but to like try to make a difference in other people's lives. I think art is a great and fantastic way to impact other people positively. And that is something that I want to do. I definitely want to do that. I think there's enough bad art in the world that I at least know that I do not want to contribute to it, and whatever I do, I want it to be, even if it's stuff like the Mothership game, which I really enjoyed running. Um, like my goal with the Mothership game as a horror piece is not to be soul crushing. It's just to engage with the parts of horror that I actually enjoy engaging with. I think you don't need to make a horror story soul crushing for it to still have genuine horror in it. Um, I think a lot of the horror that I'm exploring with my Mothership game has a lot to do with like the kind of setting that it is, the situation that it involves, the discrete things that are happening people, the to people, the elements of the unknown, but it's not supposed to be like soul crushing necessarily. And I don't want it to be. I think good horror still wants there to be a takeaway that can be positive. Sometimes. I mean, we do have our I Have No Mouths and I Don't Scream and other pieces of media, which I do still like. I just don't know if I could. I don't know if I have it in my soul to write that. I've tried. It didn't go well for me the last time I tried. Originally, the Mothership game that I'm running now, the setting that I'm running, the first time I tried to run it was much more intense in some ways. I think it had less overall science fiction and it had more just like raw intensity. And there were parts of that were fine, and parts of it that I definitely think I should have not. I should have not. I'll just put it that way. I should have not. Like if I'm gonna Giger, I want to Giger light. I've tried to go full Giger, and I'm not that kind of person. Even if I want to do horror, and I do want to do horror, and I do want to do serious horror. That's why I'm running the Mothership game. But I just am not that intense. For me, horror the horror that I'm writing and going for and exploring is not about the blackest pits necessarily, but it is about exploring stressful situations and stressful ideas, but not so much so to just be like, well, this is just a bad time. Like, Silent Hill, for example, explores a lot of challenging subjects, but I wouldn't say that that game is explicitly just supposed to be have a bad time, which is what makes it work for me. Then you have also things like Resident Evil, which are more horror comedy. Like, horror comedy has its place as horror and comedy, valid for both. Like, horror comedy isn't less horror just because it's funny, or can have funny elements. Still horror. There's still horrifying things happening. Just also really funny. And there we go. And I like survival horror and horror novelization too much not to eventually go into it myself at some point. Like Signalis, Silent Hill, Alien, Resident Evil, in Lovecraft. Like I still like horror enough that I was gonna try it at some point anyways. And I was even going to try to implement serious stuff. And there is serious stuff in the Mothership game. One of my favorite sessions we've had so far was actually the session before the last session. We had a lot of really good, like, kind of like more serious interpersonal connection and discussion. And that's something I want to explore, even with horror, especially because as I've kind of like gone on and worked and written for Mothership, Mothership very much is like kind of an ensemble cast. There's like a lot of different characters. All are interacting and intersecting in specific ways. As fleshed out as I can get them to be. I mean, there are a couple characters that are less that are truly just side characters, but I would say most of the main cast, like each of them is kind of dealing with something that is legitimate and real in the setting, even if they have moments where they're balls or weirdos. My philosophy when it comes to writing a character typically is um, every character can laugh and every character can cry. It's finding the in between. And what they decide to do is a lot that says about them. Like what causes them to do either of those things says specific things about them because not everybody laughs and cries about the same things. Every, Everybody laughs and cries about something different. Everybody. Oh yeah. One stroke, baby, one stroke. Hell yes. There we go. Ooh. Oh boy. Make it. I can make it. Oh, I can make it. I mean, if I'm gonna be honest, let's see. should go for as long as I can. I should go to at least 10:30. I should go to at least 10:30. And no matter what, like I made good progress today. I would say I made really, really good positive progress today, no matter what. And I mean, you there's just gotta think about it, right? If you really think about it, it's not really possible to make negative progress. Want to know how you make negative progress? Don't. That's called doing nothing or self sabotage. I don't know. It's really like forward momentum is always going to be forward momentum. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter how much it is. You know? Oh, joints though. Does wear down the cartilage in my goddamn fingers. Grinded my fingers in pixie dust. That's what it's like to be dedicated to a craft. Sacrifice your bones to the Fey Wilds. I swear, sometimes it feels that way with artists. I like see some artists do something, and I'm just like, did you did you give your firstborn to some fairy in the forest in exchange for this? Like, what? What kind of fairy's curse did you collect? Be able to gain such whimsical power? I mean, in a certain sense, I bet. I mean, if I was to look at myself, I think if I was to look at myself, yeah, the Fae, I think I did give up a pretty substantial amount of my hours to. Like twice. It's freaking thumb. I swear. Why did I have to do this thumb? I keep clearly forgetting about it. Yeah, I think that's gonna look really good though with the render because it really gets the finger to stick out. It's very silly. which is very fun. Glad that that works as well as it does. Good. Closer. I mean, I think in the next, what? If it takes me... I should do a test. I should do a test. Here's what I'm going to do. The next frame, I'm going to put on a stopwatch. We're just gonna be disappointed. Ah, beans. Get something. And again, the good news is once I get near the end, once I get near the finishing bit of the render, the last few frames are going to go really fast. All right. Hi. Oh. All right, here we go. I feel like I should restart the timer. It got stuck. No, it's fine. The goal here, the important thing to remember here is I'm not trying to test myself to go as fast as possible. This is for metric, for value. This is to understand actually this would not work if I was like, okay, I need to do this as fast as possible. No, this is to give me sort of a measure to be like, okay, this would take then this much time. Nope. But this is good intel. This is about testing. Real quick. And this is general. I would say like this is taking into account the fact that I had to fix that. Everything. And it's not about rushing, it's about knowing an idea of how long it's going. And again, this is particularly good because I've pretty much been doing the exact same render for the last hour and a half. So it's not like it should take that much more time any given frame. Maybe slightly different, stuff like that, where I had an issue pop up, but it is looking to be about 2.5 minutes a frame. Which is about what I kind of expected. And frankly, I find that I go slower as soon as you put me under a timer or a constraint like that. So yeah, 2.5 to 2.75 minutes a frame is about That's about what I do. That's about what I do. That seems right. I would say that seems correct. Oh no, don't do that. That seems about right. And seems fair. Like I get about 20 frames then. Maybe a little bit over 20 frames done an hour. Like 20 to 25 frames an hour. Apparently that's just my number. Don't know why that's my number. I kind of wished it wasn't, but that's just my number. You don't have to go into more on that. Just know that 20 is my number. Don't know why. If I do anything, it's about 20. Don't know why. Whoa, don't take that. No, not that way. No, 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 no. Your hand off of that phone. You mean like, you know it. This way? That? That's a tough one. What that I just did, that was tough. That was like really hard to process, actually. I had to make some pretty hard choices there. And hey, I'm a little bit closer. 400 I was when I started. Much closer to 400 than I started. No matter what, I got closer to 400. That's what matters. Means I'm doing about 60, doing about 60 frames, 60 to 70 frames a session. Which probably means I then do have like 2 or 3 more full, which is fine. It's okay. Fine. I thought I was gonna be closer, but I was getting too anxious. Sometimes I find that I get a little bit too anxious trying to, especially if I'm like really, really close like this to the end of a project. I should have done. Trust me. I listen. Listen. I want this done as much as the producer wants this done. Okay. All right. If I had a producer, because the producer's me, uh, I get that they want this done. I want this done too. But I have to tell my inner producer, it's gonna get done when it gets done. Ah, I'm catching myself when I do that now. This, leave that. On. I think this maybe. Out. First, this needs. This definitely needs this way. I mean, I have two options here. It's a consistent thing. Fine. Like that. Then this is all behind. Actually, might just be this. Is this too dark? This my concern is this gets too dark. Oh, if I actually. At least do this, maybe? This, maybe? Yeah, it's better. Why you can't get stuck on a tween too long. Sometimes you just have to get it and get it. I could see there being quite an argument. I remembered what I was trying to say earlier when I was talking about squash and stretch. The other reason why you probably see quote unquote bad tweens in anime is just because you gotta you've gotta do 1,000 fucking frames and you just gotta get them done. You just gotta get them done sometimes. Did I remember? I should just always check that thumb to make sure that I actually got it. Okay, so now this is interesting. The hands are very, very close. This needs definitely. Okay, yes. So like this. I need this to go down, around. All of this to be dark. Look at that. It's all just planes. It's all just planes. Definitely this right here. That. That. Okay. That seems right. That seems correct. Hello, sir. Such is my cat. Here now. Here now. Just go. All just build. Honestly, I don't even know why it's not filling that space. I was gonna. It's like that's right. There we go. And then we have the backside here. So that is just like that. Whoa! About to hit 3 hours. I can do about 10 more frames. I'll be pretty close. 400. Yeah, 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 yeah. Good progress. Made the progress. That's what matters. And then in the future, I might be able to pepper in shorter sessions, at least for a little bit. I won't be permanent, but I will have some time, extra time. In the near future, we'll see. Yeah. Sometimes you just gotta kind of loosen up your hand and find the way to make a shape as smoothly as you can. Sometimes doing something smoothly is going to always be faster than doing it quickly. Honestly, the goal, my experience, is to smooth, smooth. It's kind of smooth. This is an interesting conundrum. Well, I think this will go very fast then. No longer really have to do that hand anymore. If I'm not having to do that hand anymore, oh boy. That'll save me all sorts of time. That'll be nice. What is in the way? My elbow needs to go there, sir. Certain kinds of shapes. Ah, hey, my music. Don't you stop. Are you still watching? No, but I am listening. I swear, YouTube. I'm sorry, YouTube. There is a non-zero portion of your audience who just puts videos on to listen to them. Hate to break this down. I hate to break this down. I will say whatever animation I do next will not be fully rendered. I don't think I will do a fully rendered animation for a while. I will probably just do line animation for a bit. Just because. Look at this. Look at it. It looks great, but it takes for fucking ever. It looks good. I am dying. I am significantly closer to my mortal coil doing it. Doesn't well, it does hurt, but I have affected what would have been done if it was just line art has now been done 3 times. I'd say 2.5 times because really the base color doesn't really take that long. It's the render that takes for fucking ever. Well, I should be fair too. The render didn't take as long as the line art, but I've had the line art done for a time now, for a really long time. Bless you. Something like this. I'm gonna say something like that. And honestly, no matter what, this is not. I will take a break from animating for a little bit, but I will be back to animate no matter what. This is the most ambitious thing I've ever animated, and it took a while. And I've learned two lessons. I can do it. If I do it again, I need more time. That's the big thing I learned from this is if I do a big animation like this again, then I'm doing multiple times a week. I'm working on it multiple times a week. Which was kind of initially the intent with this project anyways, was to be working on it multiple times a week, but I had a funny thing. I just took on too much when I decided to run that godforsaken mothership game. Ooh, really am glad that I'm running it, but boy, did I not anticipate it to be that draining. My resource called time. Which it makes sense. It makes sense. This is why you can't do more than one of these at the same time. You do one at a time. You do one at a time. One of them. You don't do both of them. You do one of them. or at least for the moment. How many? I have learned that I can only do one major project at a time. You cannot do two major projects at the same time. Kind of makes sense. It makes sense. Not denying that. Sir, are you actually comfortable? Sir, are you actually comfortable doing that? This. This, that. A little bit. What's good is the hand has very little shading now. That's gonna make this part go much faster. Till the spaghettis come out. Ooh. No, those are gonna go. I don't think there's gonna be much in the way of rendering for them. I don't anticipate there being a lot. I might try a little bit, but I don't think I'm gonna do a lot of rendering on the spaghettis. On the celebration spaghettis. Drink some more water. Do this frame, and then I'm gonna drink some water. Oh. I moved it too far up. Hey, but not too far up. Hey, but not too far up. Really what matters. Only a little far up. Good thing I checked. Always gotta check the collar, always gotta check the thumb. Pretty sure I've been getting the thumb now. Always gotta check the collar, always gotta check the thumb. Actually, that rim this. Like ballooning out. I think I want to. That? No. That? No. What? It's actually kind of a part, and I need to go back and fix that previous frame because connected. I want it to tune out a little bit. So it's gotta like be bigger. Like that. Like that. Aye. He hates my pencil. Wants to eat it. I don't know why. He thinks it's food. Or he just doesn't like it. Oh. Alright. I'm in the last stretch though. That. And a little bit of depth. Add just a little bit of depth. My bones hurt. I forgot to drink. Shit. Okay, fine. Hold on. Let me do this and then I will drink. Because I did promise I was going to drink after I did that frame, and then I proceeded to draw the next frame. Ugh! My bones! Oh, my bones. Ah, thanks. Yeah, gaggle tooth. I need to be careful. I'm riling him up, and I can't have that happen while I'm trying to draw. See if we can get away with this. Oh, that's just gonna. Yeah, I'm gonna that. I have a spot. Whoa! Knew that was gonna. If you do that one more time, I gotta kick you out of my lap, sir. Yeah. Oh, God bless me. I wonder, why wasn't I able to undo? That's weird. Just in case. I don't want that. How dare you? Why would you say that about me, Silos? God, fixed it. I don't know. That was weird. That was weird, though. There. Not wrong. Not wrong, my. No, I'm fine. But here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna try to go till this playlist is done. We're gonna try to go till this playlist is done. No matter what, I should get some sleep. I need to. No matter what, I'm gonna push myself a little bit. Get enough done that this full playlist plays because I do like this playlist a lot. It's very good. What a good game. What a good game. Everybody go play Valhalla. It's great. Go make drinks and change lives. Damn it. I think that part's a bit peachy, but I mean that's like the whole that's the whole cyberpunk part is like really bad. It's really bad. But it's really good. I'm really glad we played Valhalla. That game, I mean, like, I really like the main character. Ew! I can't remember her name off the top of my head, even though I like her a lot. Dorothy's great. I like Dorothy. I like Dorothy. I like Dorothy for a lot of reasons. I think one of the reasons that I like her that probably people don't talk enough, or probably some people don't consider, is how that one individual, there's a specific guy who has who you meet super early on that you only see like he's like a really small character. He's not like a big character, but like a guy who appears every now and then who has a very interesting relationship with Dorothy. Like no, not intended that way, but um, he has like a very specific interaction with Dorothy that Dorothy doesn't understand that is clearly very significant to him that makes him much more interesting than just being some random thug. And I really like that about that game is there's a lot of little moments like that. I wish we would have gotten to see more Taylor though. Why didn't you add more Taylor to the game, huh? Taylor's great. I saw her twice. Thought we were gonna get more Taylor, but no. You get to see the brain in the jar once. We got more streamer Chan than we did Taylor, and frankly, wants to watch that. Is that technically telling on myself? Oh. Hey, at least I don't show my tits for free. That does cost money. Want to see my tits, you gotta pay to draw them. And they're not, they're extra. I mean, that's something that I hope when people start responding to the VGen, that if anybody actually responds to that, I did set it that whilst I'm not explicitly a not safe for work artist first, I am willing to do not safe for work because yeah, what can I say? I like not safe for work art too, and I could see me doing so. But I did say as a joke and as a serious, but also as a joke, but also as a serious, um, uh, to order not safe for work, it's a little bit of an upcharge and the specific like the specific description of the add-on is big naturals. And I actually think Ari for that one. Ari came up with the phrase big naturals for the add-on. It's pretty ingenious. Not to say that I'll do any. This is the thing. Here's the thing, everybody. I working. I've come to learn that working for anything and everything requires a certain amount of boundaries set, and you can't just do everything. And I won't just do everything. I will. This is the thing, right? Like, if you're gonna want me to do not safe for work, there's not safe for work I would want to do. Just ask me to do that. We'll just go from there. Like, there's plenty of topics in not safe for work I'd be happy to draw. Just gotta start there. Sir, are you stuck again? This is why you gotta be careful with Claw. Do it. There you go. Oh no, he's doing grippies. Good. Oops. But yeah, thank you, Ari, for coming up with big naturals. That was pretty good. Because really, like, half of my art is just selling partly like my personality and sense of humor stuff, so like I could do all sorts of stuff, and I'm always gonna be a bit of a goofball. It's not safe for work anyways. I can make it as not safe for work. It, like, I don't need to be professional. It's already not safe for work. I draw fucking goofballs. Like, no. I don't have to be serious. Oh boy, here it comes. So, okay. Okay. It's gonna have to go for it. Our best. Hey, I have to put my cat hat on the cat, my hand on the cat, so that way he doesn't bat at me. Very silly. Yeah. Only so many times that you could attack me while I'm drawing before I kick you out of my lap. Wow, if you were a real artist, you'd go and fix that line. Maybe I will. I haven't decided yet. Actually, I haven't decided whether or not I'm going to do anything about that line. I want to really want to show that this is behind that. I'm trying something. That should be enough. Yeah, something like that. Boy, that's gonna be fun. Boy, that's gonna be fun, isn't it? Boy, this frame is going to take me an hour. gonna take me longer than the other frames, that's for damn. This frame is a big one. Do this. Yeah, we'll just do that. Yeah, we'll just do that. I don't have a gradient. Cylinders are hard to do when you don't do a gradient, okay? Cylinders are weird. It's not a cylinder. How many times do I have to tell you guys? Do the new motion that I hadn't had to do before. I had to take my time a little bit more. Correctly. I hadn't done that shape before. Like that. There we go. Oh shit. Now this is kind of changing, so I actually have to change with it. I want that to still bisect. And this is moving, so I definitely have to just like keep track of this. Oh boy. Oh jeez. Frickin' hell. Can I do I could do 20 more minutes. I could do it. I am about to hit 400. If I do like 20 more minutes, I think I can hit frame 400. Oh. Except this is going to slow me down a bunch, so I might not quite hit 400. Close. But I'll get close. What's kind of fun doing the shadow on this ribbon is it's gonna just add a little bit of flavor to it. That way it like kind of twists and turns wild wave. Kind of like that. Eh, There we go. Yeah, just add a little bit of flavor. Fun about this one. Orange is such a strong color, anyways. Just like that. Alright. Oh, I should add something to the disc. Might do the disc. There's a couple ways I could do this. Do something like could do this. I don't like that actually. Yeah, I like that. I don't like it. I like that. Yeah, that's fun. I like that. Sure. Have to sit in my lap and you have to behave. He's here. Behave. Love you too. Behave. It. What was that paw up for? Ah. Squish the cat. So that not understand why, but right, behave, or else I will kick your butt. Monster. He loves me. He's a monster, but he does love me. Just being a pest. There we go. Good. Yuck. I don't even know why I hit that button. I don't even know why I hit that button. His head is there. I have to use it as a rest. I'm sorry, boy. If you don't want me to use your head as a rest, you probably shouldn't sit in my lap. Here's what we do. There. Oh, I need eraser. There we go. I think that's the, yeah, that's the only one. Need brush. Oh boy, that frame was a hell. Be easier from here on in. This. Nope, gotta finish the line. Side. Yugi. Sometimes you just gotta get in there and manually fix it. And it's one frame, so it's not even gonna really fucking matter. Like this song. I believe this isn't an official track. I believe this is just a cover, but it's so. Sometimes you just gotta be willing. One line. You just gotta be willing to make one line. You're the one in the Actually, this is gonna look really good because you've got a frame here where dark, light, dark to show that it's really going head over heels. Like that's gonna get that motion in line. I'm glad that I decided to do that. That was a really good idea. There's a couple songs that I would like to at some point be able to learn to actually like kind of do performances for. I do think that if I actually sat down and really, because I've done like a lot of voice training, unintentional voice training. I'll be quite frank. This was not intentional voice training at any point until I finally intended to start voice training. But I've done a lot of voice training. I feel like to get my voice to the quality that it is now. Not that I've ever had a poor voice quality, but I definitely had a poor diction quality. That is for certain. Uh, I would love to sing this song sometime, or like learn how to like properly sing it. There's also a couple of others. Um, One of the only songs I can actually sing, if it's really considered singing, but it's more impressive that I remember all the words, is I'm pretty proud of my ability to do Clint Eastwood. Really like that song, by the way. Clint Eastwood is really good. There we go. Oh, this will be the last frame. We can do this. I think this is the last frame that we do for tonight, guys. Yeah, these tassels unsurprisingly slowed things down a little bit. Making it through, and that's what matters. This part is easy. That's all I have to do. I mean, at the very least, being able to. Oh, oh, no, I actually. Yeah, I think this. If I know how short this song is, I think I have. I think I just do this frame. I call it there. I'm 100. I'm at 391. I'm at 391. 10 frames away. 5 drawn frames away from 400. That's pretty good. I did good. I'm closer to 400 than I was before. I made good progress today. We got to a part that was particularly hard. I think this part did slow me down a little bit because a lot of it is like different. Still made it. I still made pretty good progress in spite of it. I think I did pretty good. Ugh. Oui, oui. No. Get zit. Get zit mustache of your face. Not like this. Sorry. Or. I don't think that was French. Actually, no, is that not my love? Or I don't know. I only know mein Lieber. I do like that it's like, oh, mi amor, so romantic, whereas the Germans are like, ich liebe dich. Liebest du, liebest dir. Ay, 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 ay. That's those are the Germans. That's what they sound like. All right. Uh, one more. Time to see how the render looks so far. I think it'll look good. I think it'll look good. I think it'll dare say I think it'll look great. Look! Look! Oh, we're so close. So goddamn close. Yeah, that looks really good. That looks really good. The finger going up looks really, really good. And it only takes all of my bones in my hand. I want to let everybody know that it just takes all of the bones in my hand to do this. Yeah, that looks really good. I like the way. So I did make the right choice. I made the right shape when she goes to pull the popper, and then when it balloons out, it gets a nice like. It gets a nice roundness to it. It gets a really nice roundness to it that really works. The hand shadow looks good. The hand shadow works. This is what it all comes down to. Sometimes did you make the thing move? Did you make it move? If it moved, you did it right. That's animation. Did it move? Duh. Be good. Yeah, that looks really, really good actually. I'm very excited then to see this finished for definitely for the reason of because it'll look good and not because it's so fucking ready to be done with this animation. Yeah, the hand shadow came out actually really, really good. I like the way that it very naturally you see when the hand like turns around, the shadow like makes sense from the direction the light is coming. Which now this has given me a very sometimes studying something is not about doing it to the degree of like perfection. Sometimes it's about breaking down and analyzing something simply. And being able to think about the direction that the shadows are actually being consistent, as the light is the consistency here is the light, actually made that look much, much better. To be like, okay, the light's coming this way, so I have to consider what is actually being illuminated and what isn't. Yeah, that that works really, really well. That works really, really well. And that's something I have to keep in mind in the future. Like I have to just think of light sources as just a, a direction. It's a direction. Light moves in a direction. That's how light works. It moves in a direction. But it does. Like, and you really have to consider where it hits, not just where things are. I think that's a big part of it. Is you have to consider where it hits, not just what it hits, or not just what is in front and what's behind. I think is a lot more difficult than you would expect. I think that's one of the challenges with a shadow is like it's very easy to just put a shadow behind. Like, oh, it's in the background, it's shaded. But like some things in the background have light. Um, it's difficult. It's difficult. You have to think about that. And this came out really, really good. I think I good progress today. That hand gesture came out really good. Yeah. All right. I'm gonna start wrapping it up though. It's it. Boy, it is. He's can't help it. He's here to be squished. This is what his purpose is for. Oh, he hated it. He would try to stop me. He never tries. Except for the time. Well, yeah. Except for now, he's okay. Now he's chewing on my hand. Oh nope, he gave up. I'm glad I've taught him. He doesn't chomp as bad as he used to. He'll actually like use his mouth to be like. What is it with some animals? They just want you to stick your hand in their mouth. That's what they want. My cat wants my hand in his mouth sometimes. I don't know why. Why? He's not a chew toy. But he knows how to like do it without being like, "Arr." You can chew on me if you don't chomp. You can chew on me if you don't chomp. Good boy. Your word is squished, but you gotta go take care of the pupper. Okay. Well, in that case, whilst I put my computer back together, we're gonna do one more thing before we go. For the end of our stream, I've got to draw a picture. You guys are gonna help. Want to participate? All you gotta do is type in chat whatever chat says, like Silos did. I'll use as a reference. I recommend simple words for every person. So like, say like a noun or a subject that you can add to a picture, and then I'll collect everything everybody says, and I will open up Paint, and I'll open up a 60-second timer, and I have to draw it in a minute. And then I'll share it before we raid out. And because this is a day where I had to use my drawing screen, I have to do this all keyboard and mouse today. So, oops. Why is my backspace not working? Oh, that's why. Wait, what the? That was weird. Huh? How did, how did I get those two enters? That shouldn't have happened, I don't think. Squish the cat is their purpose. It's true, though. Must squish cat, it's their only purpose. Well, it's not their only purpose, but it's one of their main purposes. It's one of their primary functions. It's why we have a cat. There we go. Perfect. Perfect. This is just what it looks like whenever I'm interacting with my cat, whenever he's in my lap. Perfect. Hold on. Now. Here, let me just... There. Not cheating, I just needed to... There. There we go. Well, if you want to see that picture, stick around to the very end. I also do a bit of a closing bit. We do raid at the end of the stream, so that way the vampires in our chat can keep watching. So everybody else out there, make sure to go lock your doors and windows. It's almost lunchtime for vampires, and thank you so much for joining, everybody. I hope you had a good time. I hope you enjoyed the show. If you're able to join the live show, thank you for stopping by and chatting and watching. If you're watching this in the future, thank you for taking the time to go back and rewatch the VOD. We appreciate it. If you're out there and you enjoyed this and you want to see more of what we're up to, I recommend scrolling down below and following or clicking any of the links. Link to all the socials and the Discord. We post when we go live on any one of those platforms, as well as anything else that we're up to. And just generally, you can come hang out with the rest of the community on the Discord. Here, it's a good time in there. It's the best way to keep up with anything that we're doing. You get to see any of the art that I'm making. You can see what other people are posting or up to. And it's just a good time in the Discord. You can talk to other viewers. You can talk to me if you really feel like it. Want to? And I talk to too many people, honestly, but it's not gonna stop me from encouraging you to talk into me, you crazy bastards. Speaking of which, a shout out to our community there on the Discord and everyone who follows. You guys are a wonderful audience, and we appreciate you. If we do anything particularly entertaining or noteworthy, feel free to clip it and share it on the internet. Just make sure to also hashtag one MCCanary or link it back to the stream so people can find more of the good stuff we do here. And if you want to see the stream grow, you gotta let people know. I appreciate that people have been talking about the stream, and I encourage you guys to do it more. It does help us out, and it's just super rad that you guys are willing to do that. Honestly, I'm excited and proud and happy that we're doing things that people want to talk about, and I want to keep doing things that people want to talk about, and I want you guys to talk about them. So if you really did enjoy this, share this animation with your friends, share it with people that you like. I guess you could share it to people that you don't like, but that would be weird. And maybe if you don't like this, maybe you could share this to people that you don't like, that would, maybe they would like it, but that would also be weird. But I guess I can't stop you. Yes, I won't. And as always, a huge thank you to all of our supporters on Patreon, Coffee, and Twitch. Your generosity allows us to continue to expand the stream as well as take on more projects. The stream would absolutely not be made possible without viewers like you, so we thank you. If you want to see your name added to this list, as well as some other benefits you can get, you can always subscribe directly on Twitch or check out the Patreon, Coffee, and the VGen here. Any amount is, you can see everything that's available on those, and any amount is always appreciated. Once again, thank you. And thank you to our mods who did a wonderful job of holding back the robot army in front of becoming famous. Just thank you for coming and hanging out, everybody. I hope you had a good time. I hope you enjoyed watching me animate. It's getting closer. Maybe it is only a couple. Maybe now it's only like 2 more sessions. If I have another session like today, I think we'll have it in like 2 more sessions. I really do think so. Thank you, Dream Mods, doing a wonderful job of holding back the robot army and preventing becoming famous. Get you guys through housekeeping and get you on your way. Check out the rest of our friends in Goblin Entertainment here. Hold on. Hydrate bot. You hydrate bot. We go you can find what everybody's been up to in those channels and everything that they've been doing. You can also find more of my stuff here, my own link tree if I type it right. That link tree has everything else that I'm posting to, as well as just more links to all the things. The VOD channel is available in there, so if you joined in late on this or want to see how the progress on the animation has been going up to this point, all of it is actually available on the VOD channel, as well as much, much more that we've been doing over the last couple of years. So find it all there. Now that we've finished looking at what's been happening in the past, looking forward to the future. Tomorrow, should be doing more Star Citizen with James and his brother Kenneth. And then Monday, we should be doing more of the saga with Sean and Jackson. Wednesday will be Sean, Ari, Lauren, and I doing more Resident Evil 4. And then Thursday, more multiplayer games with James and Aqua, and then we'll be back around to here. So if any of that interests you, again, follow the channel on Twitch. Look at any of the links below on the socials that you follow to keep up with anything else that I'm doing. Get on the Discord. It's probably the best, absolute best way to keep up with it. And just keep being cool. Keep being rad. We appreciate you all. We love you. You guys are wonderful. You guys are amazing. Keep being awesome. Keep go do crime. Be safe. Stick around. Something good in the world. I definitely have something. Wait me a second. I mean, something that's actually good in the world is just the indomitable human spirit. But really, like, don't give up. Don't give up, people. Always stay determined. Like, determination is good. Always remember, determination is not pushing yourself harder. Determination is doing anything in spite. That's what determination is. You don't have to push yourself harder to hit a deadline. You push yourself to continue doing, even though it's difficult. That's determination. All right, on that note, let's go say hi to, say hi to Shining. I'm trying to, what's wrong with me? I know that Shiro. We'll go say hi to Shiro. I'm pretty sure it's Shiro. I'm sorry. I think I remember your name. I'm tired. I'm late. I need to go sleep. We'll go say hi to them. They're good. They're a good time. I like them, and their friends are really cool. They're part of positivity. So we'll go say hi to them. So stick around for that. Otherwise, everybody, just have a good evening. Take it easy. Appreciate you. And remember, go squish your cat. Go squish your cat. Your cat doesn't look like this when they are in your lap. Then you need to go give your cat some attention. So that way you have situations like this where you're shoving your hands all up and down and around their face. Then they start chewing on you. Because they're like, what are you doing? It's not even true. Oh, there you go. Went for a chomp. Animation takes a long time. I don't think I'm gonna do a colored bit for a while. I think I'm gonna just do some line work for a while. My hands deserve it to not disintegrate. Well, guys, I promised my friends I was gonna do better. We don't gotta talk about whether I want or do not want the condition of my hands. We don't gotta